Call the meeting to order and of the Hall County Board of Commissioners special budget meeting, and ask Marla to call the roll.
Karen Brethauer. Here. Butch Hurst.
Here.
Pam Lancaster.
Present.
Gary Kwan.
Yes.
Ron Peterson.
Here.
Jane Richardson. Here. Scott Sorensen.
Here.
Notice of the open meeting law. This is a public meeting subject to the open meeting laws of the state of Nebraska. The requirements for an open meeting are posted on the door on my left, and notices are on the front table for your information. Request to reserve time. If anyone in the audience has a request to reserve time to speak on a specific agenda item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, we will have verified the affidavit of publication. We also, if there's anybody in the audience that wants to address the Board of Commissioners under public participation on something that is not on the agenda, the commissioners will not be able to take action, but is there anybody that wants to address the board under public participation? Seeing none, there is a correction. The Caro Rural Fire District will follow the Donovan Fire District. On one of the sheets, it's not listed that way. And I would call on the Hall County Ag Society.
All ready for the fair?
Getting there.
It's not that far off.
What's that?
It's not that far off.
No, it's not.
They're still looking for volunteers for the dunk contest, Gary.
How'd you know I was gonna ask?
Ron volunteered.
You want to?
Ron did.
Okay,
All right, so the first
just, Joe, identify yourself for the,
stuff with AMG out here now.
okay.
I'm gonna present 5 of these. My partner Marcia Luke actually prepares 4 of them, so I prepare 1. So I'll answer your questions best I have. She did give me a little summary. She's on audit today. So
Okay,
first, Hall County Ag Society, there is no change in the tax request other than the fact that the form changed and it changed the percentages a little bit on contract. So it's the same tax request, the numbers are just slightly different. One 156 last year versus, or 156 040 last year versus 156 101 this year. Same request. Just the way they changed the form this year caused it to come out with some minor, it's in the percentage. So, all of these I speak on their behalf. Otherwise, I don't, that's the tax request on the 3rd page of that.
is there anything we should know?
I'm Corey Flagel, Hall County Fair Manager, and I appreciate you guys looking into it, and thanks for the numbers, you know. But anyway, we're getting ready for the fair. 4-H numbers, I was told by the extension officer, up just a little bit. I don't know how much, and as long as they're up, that's an improvement for me. We've got a couple different things going on this year. We're gonna have the cornhole contest on Thursday, and then have a local band, Riley Morgan, playing during that and after that. And then Friday, we've got the car show, and we're excited to do that. We missed it last year because of the construction and stuff. And we still have some construction going on to get out there, but that's okay. And then we've got another band, local band planned on Friday night. And then we've got 4-H open class opening up on Wednesday for entries, along with 4-H kids. They'll be bringing their stuff in. Weigh-ins and everything will happen on Wednesday night for the 4-H people. And I know I've talked with a couple of the kids, and they're really excited. And we're doing something different on the open class. We're celebrating the 250th. So we have 3 different ways of sorting it out. kind of a large, medium, and small to classify, so that little kids can bring in paintings or whatever, and other people can bring in quilts, and only reason I mention quilts is because my wife has got some going to the fair for that reason, for the 250th. And so we're excited over that. It's kind of a one-time category, and we hope that it goes over very well. And we have had several people call, and some of the older people that have trouble trying to put things on the computer, we've worked through with a few of them over the telephone, and we're asking them just to bring in, and we'll get them signed up the day with Wednesday. We've got the cattle shows going on like normal. The livestock sale will be on Sunday. We're asking people to come out and support the 4-H kids. And then on Saturday, we're doing the barbecue cook-off again, and that was a good, successful deal last year. That's presented by Thunder Road and Bossman. So, and I always appreciate their support. And we've got mainly local people doing the cook-off. So it'll be interesting to see how many things they can come up with and how good everything tastes. We've also got then the trailer races that we've had the last 3 years, and that's been a big success. And then we're going to do in between grain truck races. And I think we have 5 grain trucks that have entered, and we're going to do the races with the grain trucks. So we're going to see how that goes. It's something different, and it sounds kind of fun. So that's kind of, basically, and then we have another band on Saturday night. Emmett Bauer will be playing. Blacktop Pony, I forgot to say that on Friday night. So it's more or less just local. The entertainment is free. We're just trying to get people to come out and enjoy the fair. We're going to have bingo again, and we don't get the ice cream cups anymore. They don't make them, so we had to go back to ice cream bars. And so we've got a lot of them ordered, and that way we can figure out where the trash cans are and get rid of the sticks.
What are the dates of the fair?
22nd through the 26th.
Okay.
Who are you getting your ice cream from? Highland still gets ice cream cups.
Not like what we used to do,
Okay.
okay? We got what we could last year, and then we figured out there was a few of them outdated, and we gave them back to them.
Okay.
We didn't want something to go wrong on the date. And they substituted some ice cream bars
Okay.
for us last year, so we're excited to do the ice cream bars this year.
Okay,
They're good company.
all right.
Yes. And everybody's been very supportive, We've had a lot of people that have offered to help and things like that. We need a lot of people. The state fair, I spoke with them, and we're going to give away compliments of the state fair and the Hall County Fair, tickets to the Nebraska State Fair events. Some of the entertainment, and we've got some tickets for the Derby and for the monster truck and the rodeo events also. So we're going to give them away on that Saturday during the trailer races. Compliments of the state fair, and Jamie's worked with me over that. And the state fair, we've got 4 people that's going to come help, like they did last year with barbecue cook-off. So, and they've been very helpful with us also.
Well, very good, Corby. Thank you very much for coming. You guys do a great job, and we encourage people to attend the fair.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
letting me come in and run my mouth. Appreciate it. Take care. See you guys. See? How easy that was?
Joe, the next one is the Suburban GI Fire District.
Hey, can I call you back? Can I call you back? Okay, bye.
Give that to Scott, he needs to sign that.
Jerry? Thank you. Oh, maybe I have two. I have two. So you can hand that one over too. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, here, I've got an extra one too. Sorry about that.
Here, I think we got enough.
So on the GI Suburban Fire, if we go to page 2A, we'll go to page 1. The general fund tax asking invoice increased to 15,000. The sinking fund tax asking should an increase of 15,000. The reason for the increase, if we go back to page 2, is really the capital costs have doubled in the past 10 years. And we're trying to build cash reserves for equipment replacement, also the operating costs have just continually steadily increased year over year. So that's really the increase. I was doing some work on the one, I'll talk about it a little later, but I looked up the CPI inflation for the last year was 3.5%. With the way the budgets work, it's hard to even get a lot of these 2, 3.5. Not asking for, we're not keeping up with inflation. So, the increases, I think, are needed as the cost is going up. I think because behind me will tell you that there's another fire on it. Some buildings are the price. So, that's the GI Suburban Fire. It's asking for total of $443,000.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, Joe, does the accounting work just like, where you get a multi-car discount? Do the fire districts get a multi-accountant discount for?
Well, they definitely get our experience, so we do 100 or plus budgets, municipal budgets. I'd say by far the most in the state, we do 100 plus audits.
Good for you.
Sometimes it is. No, it's, we do think that our experience helps in a lot of ways. All right, Wood River Rural Fire District. We're on page 2A again, the increase in the general fund tax asking on this is $2,000. That's gonna be the maximum we have room for under our lid. It's on last year's lid numbers. There's a sinking or bond fund request, except for there's a little bit of difference with that. The only things that are a little different on that, but same thing. We're trying to get as much as we can, keep up with inflation. Still with this tax request volume, that's about 1.5. Well, between 1.5 and 2% increase. And like I said, inflation is 3.5. So keep falling behind it. At some point, we're gonna see some changes. Hopefully, we'll make it long enough for all of us in this room. Questions on that?
No. Kayla, are you guys getting copies of these?
Yep.
Okay. So,
No, the ambulance doesn't get any of that stuff. Some part of the fire district. Separate and be fee-based. Except for right now.
Shelton's, we're increasing the total tax asking $1,566, that's 1.7%. We're not keeping up with inflation. If we go to the second page, our operating expenses is where we're trying to keep up. Last year actually turned out to be a decent year for that. Had 18,000 in operating expenses, where in the past, we've ranged anywhere from that 18 to 35. So our tax asking at 30 definitely is covering us in the lower years. Some of the heavier years, there are more calls and supplies and things, usually it's not going to cover. We did increase, so when I'm increasing these, I've been trying to increase that instead of the sinking fund. Knowing the sinking fund is all in time equipment. The last piece of equipment a couple years ago used a bond, so the bond tax asking you guys' budget, that number is just changing. It's coming down a little bit every year due to the interest. So you'll see the tax asking on that total of $91,855, 1.7%.
Just out of curiosity, if some of the fellows in the room can answer this, are these fires in the rural areas, are they being called out on some of those that even aren't in our area for help? I figured you probably were. Yeah, that's,
We've seen it more this year so
yeah,
Mutual aid, kind of.
yeah.
far. Tracking since 5 years ago, we left 24 calls out of state.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay, thanks, Joe.
Thank, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, here's one for you, and just pass them on. There, here's one for you. Okay, go ahead. I had two.
High school on the fire chief predominantly. We are asking for about a $13,000 increase, which is about a 10% increase. We're still trying to dig out of a hole. We kept ours flat for like 15 years, our total ask, and we're trying to dig out of that hole. As he said, everything is more expensive. The costs are going up. I know, like if you look on the third page, down toward the bottom, our equipment replacement, we're trying to save some of that reserve back for new equipment. Well, that $165,000 for a tanker to replace our 1990 tanker. Grand Island Rural just ordered a new tanker, they've got a new tanker in the works for about $550,000. A few lines down from that, we're also, our newest pumper truck is a 2011, and those are about $1 million to replace. So, you go back a page to our expenses, you'll notice like vehicle maintenance has gone way up, because everything we're running is old, and we have to take care of it because that's all we've got. So, we're trying to save the money to buy new, but we're also keeping what we've got going longer. Just an example, we had on the front of one of our grass rigs, we have a monitor, so it's a sprayer that you can run from the cab with a joystick. In one of the calls where it was actually cold, because we've been having weird grass fire calls, in the freezing weather, they froze up the valve on it. The valve alone is a $1,900 valve, just to replace a 2-inch ball valve. It runs, it's got the electric actuator on to turn on off, but the prices are just outrageous for all of that. So with all those costs going up, that's why we kind of get a 10% increase this year. do have room to put there.
Do you? Okay,
They
that
have
was my
allowable
question.
growth that they didn't use, they voted it in, but they didn't utilize it over the last 30 years.
Okay, that's what my question was.
Okay, thank you very much. Carol,
Okay. Yeah. Did not. That's all. Yeah, I'll definitely, yeah, 'cause we're over to that. Just
I'm gonna get yours, and you can just hand these on.
Well, thank
And
you
here's
very
yours.
much. Thank you.
It's a little easier, you got all this
Yeah.
stuff around you.
You've got a lot of stuff in
You do.
okay. Okay,
All right, so on Caro, we're increasing the general fund request $4,667.78. That is the max we can do under the lid. That's current year restricted funds authority increasing 2,500 plus 1973 from the prior year that hadn't been used. The valuation increased 3.5% on the 6/30 budget, but didn't increase the tax rate accordingly. So that's just basically it's the 2 years catching up. Really needing to increase the cash reserve due to this. Are you hearing about it by now? It costs a lot. Equipment's going. That leaves the total tax asking at $120,360. Our operating costs are running about 60 to 62,000 the last 2 years, and we're only able to get the general fund tax estimate to 56. So we're gonna keep pushing it on that lid, trying to get those numbers in line, but as of now, not really able to do something like this right now. So that's all I got.
okay,
Okay.
okay. You did good job.
Do we have Alvin or not?
Did you want these extra copies?
No. Thank you. You guys don't need any extra?
You have them all
Remember if
right.
Alvin used to have-
Thank you.
The
Huh?
copies of
I can't remember if Alvin.
I've never seen them here.
I didn't think about making out this way, this is just a cost increase over the last 10 years.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Stuff.
I'd like to
I said,
see
I
that.
didn't think about it until I got
No, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And by the way, I should have said this before, but please tell the rural fire departments, we appreciate everything you do. We couldn't be as safe as we are without your help because we can't, I mean, you guys, we do the best we can for you and by you, but we know costs are just astronomical, but I can only imagine what it would be if we didn't have your volunteer help, so thank you all so much. I should have said that. Sorry.
Afternoon.
Didn't get the official okay.
Oh, this is
You're up.
awesome. Chocolate, too.
Batter up.
You know,
Good morning. Good afternoon.
chocolate, wow.
Thank you.
You know the way to our hearts. What were you gonna,
Thank you.
I mean, I don't care which
Where
one.
is Annie?
Are there plenty of everything? Okay, otherwise I don't care which one. I'm just thrilled with it.
Put stuff in the drawer.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
As
Very
well.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
I could eat it for you.
that's why I don't understand why they don't keep Capitol Heights.
It's good to have an IT specialist, huh?
Oh, I don't know. And is that today? I heard it advertised yesterday, weeks ago. Well, yeah, there's the land and the structure and the house, and the bathhouse and all that. I know, but that's what we used to do. Yeah, I have stock. I have stock in that car. But it's definitely what they should do. So I don't know what the repairs must be astronomical. Yeah, there you go. That's what we need. Thank you for the suggestion. You know, one of these years, we're gonna get this and Mike's picture's gonna be here. Is that right, Mike? One of these years, we're gonna get these and your picture's gonna be right there. Okay.
Actually, pretty soon I'd be on all the currency that's coming this year.
Well, all the other fire departments are not, they don't see our trick. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, well, can I proceed? Mr.
You bet.
Mayor?
You're up.
All right, thank you. Well, I have to say something in advance. This is my 20th year presenting in front of the board. And Pam, you were here when I was here, started. Gary, were you here?
Pretty close. What year did you come?
Well, my first budget presentation was '06.
Okay, I'd have been in '08.
Okay. So,
so I'm it. I've hung out with you all these years. I mean, you know. Sheesh.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
I'd
there you
like
go.
to make a few introductions if I could, before we get going. I've got 3 board members here. Our board chair for this year is Ryan O'Neill. And then
Thank you, Ryan.
Is the vice chair. And then Doug Brown, who I think you all probably know. So we'll go ahead and get started here. We all know who you guys are now. I think I've presented in front of all of you at least a couple of times. And absent is from the Airport Authority Board is Tim Victor and Brian Cohen.
He's in Florida.
Okay,
Oh.
a brief overview. I'm going to talk about air service, employments, and talk a little bit about capital improvement projects that we just finished up, that we're currently working on, and what we have coming down the line. Going to talk about our goals and our challenges, and then of course the best part at the very end, tax levy requests. These are our current destinations. The ones you see in the green are charter flights that are sponsored by casinos in Laughlin and Reno, and they run once every 6 to 8 weeks. And we've had those since I started here 21 years ago. So, and they most of the time they go up full. So, with that map, you see we go to Dallas, Fort Worth, and beyond with American Eagle, American Airlines, flown by SkyWest Airlines, and then to Phoenix Mesa and to Las Vegas. Of course, we've got Allegiant. And then there's the charters. Our employments, we are, this past year in 2025, we had a record year of almost 76,000 employments. Put that into perspective. my first full year here, we had 7,500. So, I think we made a little progress along the way.
You knocked it out of the park.
You can call me Hank Williams, or Henry Aaron, there you go.
You need a guitar.
Yeah. Well, I probably could do that. This year, we're tracking a little bit behind last year. Allegiant is, with their merger with Sun Country, or their acquisition of Sun Country, they have not added additional flights to Mesa like they usually do. We've had a few of them for a month or two, getting a third and even fourth flight a week to Mesa. We just didn't see that this year, like last year. And the schedule with SkyWest is not conducive, especially they have an evening flight to Dallas that leaves here at 6:20, and it limits you what you can connect to in Dallas. You certainly have a hard time connecting to the east. But help is on the way, according to SkyWest. By November, that afternoon flight will be departing before 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you'll be able to make real good connections once you get to Dallas in the early evening. Some of the capital improvement projects, we actually finished the snow removal equipment building we started it in August a year ago, and we finished late March. We had a nice ribbon cutting. I know a couple of you were at the ribbon cutting. We had Senator Fisher here, and she was integral in helping us getting funding. She contributed through the congressionally directed spending an additional $3.1 million to get us across the finish line. And so she's been a big ally of ours for a long time. And that ribbon cutting was April 1st, wasn't it? No, I think it was April 1st. Now, anyway.
It's gotta be close.
And also we completed a storage facility, storage unit facility. We've got a number of very big units that you can put the biggest RVs in. And we have 8 of the 10 filled up. And now we're starting to focus on some of the smaller units, getting those done. And so we just slashed the prices on those, so hopefully that'll get things moving real quick. We are currently working on the design for the terminal expansion and passenger boarding bridge, getting a second passenger boarding bridge. We should be about 60% designed here next month. They should be about 90% done beginning of October, beginning of November. FAA approves the design, and we'll be out for bid hopefully in January, potentially February. Award the bid in March, and then we kind of wait for the FAA to say, okay, sending you a check. So the terminal expansion part of this, we're adding about 4,000 square feet to the south. It'll be just mostly hold room and restrooms. And then the passenger boarding bridge will be on the north end of the current hold room. And it takes about 24 months once you order a won't be done with this project until probably 2029. I mean, the hold area that we're adding on, that'll be done probably within 6 or 7 months once we start. But then we'll be just waiting for the jet bridge. I talk about this every year, but I just can't stress enough the impact the airport has on not only Grand Island and Hall County, but in the region. You just have to drive through our parking lots and see how many people come from other counties. And so we are a big economic generating engine in the area. Over 200 million. Current and future highlights, when we talk about the budget, our expenses increase just like everyone else that came before you today. And a lot of it is inflation. And then insurance has really gone through the roof. And you've all probably experienced it with your homeowner's insurance, car insurance. No different for the airport authority. And then new revenue opportunities, storage units, and then we've restructured our rents at higher rates, taking into account inflation and that type of stuff. So here's a graphic, or a graph of what our budget is compared to last year with our revenues. The light green, or the light blue is what we're proposing, and the darker color is our current fiscal year. And then our expenses, again, light is what we're proposing. And so you can see insurance has gone up, personnel has gone up. We've not added more numbers of employees. We have 15 fully staffed. We have 16, I believe. Okay. So this is our tax asking. The $657,000 is the same that we asked for last year. The general fund for operations, $257,668, and then for air service incentive, $400,000. And the general fund for air service increased by $25,000, and we lowered the general fund for operations $25,000. So our total tax asking is the same as last year, $657,668, and our total bond fund request is $1.6 million. So what does that equate to? When we talk about the valuation and all that, I'm going to kind of go to the bottom line there, the levy, and with our asking this year, it's actually 3.54% less when you figure in a valuation of 3.67. And that's for our general fund and our debt service, 3.54 minus 3.54, and our total tax asking is actually down 3.54%. I got your approval right away.
You could have skipped to this first.
It's
Does
nice
that-
to have good news after.
Does that cover the candy bars?
What's that?
Does that cover the candy bars?
Sure. I'll be glad to, oh, one more thing I didn't have in the presentation, but I think it's noteworthy. On Thursday, August 6th at 5 o'clock, in the terminal, we are having an aviator statue unveiled, so to speak. And it's called the Aviator, and it'll give Einstein, who sits out there all by himself on the park bench, some company. And we had some great people donate, great organizations donate for that, including Lynn and Tom Warner, and then the IUSA Foundation. And so we're pretty excited about that. A little artsy in the terminal, and this statue will fit perfectly in the terminal. I mean, it's a little boy holding an airplane, and he's got the old goggles and leather cap on, so it'll be perfect for the terminal. So with that,
I think that, we're coming out for record year last year, and we just tried to make a lot of investments in things that either save the airport money or generate more revenue to help. We have a job in North, we did that 2 years ago. We spent maybe about $86,000 a year in labor to wash the door. We invested in an automated system, we're not going to do that anymore. It's better for compliance, so we got really hard to either find things to save money or generate more revenue to help make things more sustainable.
Perfect.
Very good.
one more comment. This is Lynn Warner's last year on the board as well.
Why?
So,
21 years, Pam. 21 years.
And I get either credit or blame, and I've said this many times, but actually, Tom was my doctor at the time, and I knew he had a vacancy at the airport, and I called him and I said, I knew that he was a pilot. I didn't know that Lynn was as well. So I called him and said, hey, what did you think about this, blah, blah, blah? And he goes, oh, he said, Pam, I really don't have the time. Here, why don't you talk to my wife? And there had never been a woman on the Airport Authority Board previously. And so we were so pleased and proud when Lynn agreed to submit her name. And of course, everyone thought that was a great choice. And I think after 21 years, we would all agree. I mean, you have had fantastic board members. I mean, congratulations to all of you and your staff. But I'm telling you, because you've been such a support, and Mike has been such a great leader, this airport, our wildest imagination could not have entertained a thought like, what's gone on. And it seemed to me, well, this shows my age too, but you just finished the terminal, and now you need to add on. I mean, that's just so cool. And I don't know why we failed to do this. Kim, you're going to have to help us remember. We need the press here. This is one of my favorite budget days because we get to hear the accomplishments of Grand Island. And I mean, people, it's so much easier to kind of fall into a lowland like, oh, well, we're home, this is our thing, blah, 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 and not realize and give credit to what's going on and the fabulous things that are taking place here. And I know it's all of our home, but we need to sing those praises even louder and clearer. So thank you all for what you've done, and thank you to the staff, because without all of your help, this wouldn't be possible. I mean, we don't do it, you guys do it. We just go enjoy the ride.
yeah. Speaking of the staff, I'll introduce the staff. And shame on me for that, because they're the ones that really make the airport tick.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah. The mark of a good leader is letting your people do their jobs, and you're just there to guide and answer questions. And I've been so blessed the last several years in having such great staff. And we're losing a great one here in 2 weeks. Our accounting manager, Debbie Hand, is retiring. has been with the airport a little over 5 years. She was Debbie's assistant. And then next to Katrina is our airport intern for the summer. McAllister Biss from University of Nebraska at Omaha. He's about to start his senior year. And next to him, we got Maggie McDermott, who's the office manager. And so I've just been really blessed with such great people to work with. I don't know where I'd be without them.
All I can say, Mike, is, you know, we've had this conversation before, and by the way, you all, I mean, you get younger every year. I mean, that's pretty cool. The whole staff is like, wow, I mean, you've got to be my grandchildren, you know, but we had this thought process. I mean, I wasn't so sure about you when you first came to Grand Island. And
I wasn't so sure of me.
and I've never been so thrilled with the way, you know, things have turned out. But, you know, you were, yeah, I mean, you were just a kid and kind of, I mean, seemed kind of nervous to be here, and you made me nervous. And man, I mean, look at all that's gone on. It's fabulous. I'm happy for you. So happy.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all you guys do.
Okay, thanks.
You guys got something?
Great job.
Gentlemen, what we got you, going back to your guys generating revenue, it's always good to hear to help offset the budget. However, I would make one comment. I had a couple of individuals from the public question, I guess, some of the rates that are being charged out there for being some of the nicest, newest, well-lit facilities out there. Just want to make sure that rates are in line with the public, if you will, for private entities, to make sure we're not undercutting anybody. With this being a government entity and government taxes going towards putting this up, we want to make sure that our private business owners are getting fair shots. And I know rental units in general, the vacancy rates are pretty low on them. I know there's one next to my business, and like there's maybe 1 or 2 out of 60 that are available. So people got plenty of stuff, but just hearing some of those comments, I just wanted to relay it to you guys. You mentioned you're looking at slashing prices to get them filled up. I would highly recommend that you guys stay in line with commercial rates.
And we are. We might be at the lower end, but we are, just at the rates here, till July 1st. Also, too, and I'm glad you brought that up, Scott, is when I look at the industrial part and our rents for our buildings, they're way below the average. And we have to, in order to get people to come out to the airport. Let's face it, we're not exactly downtown. And so, and a lot of our facilities are World War II facilities. So we're doing the best we can to get what we can. Sometimes it's an uphill battle, but we're battling.
I get it. All private business is doing the same, and they don't quite get the cushion of tax dollars to help put things up and keep the lights on. So
Okay.
just a comment that I'd received.
Okay.
Did the sewer lines help?
Yes, we haven't had to worry about getting 50 porta potties. And, you know, as we talked about this 5 years ago, and it's all been almost 5 years ago before we really started going on that project. I had nightmares of having porta potties in front of our community. That's how bad the system was. But we've had zero problems with it, and we shouldn't. It's a
Brand new.
brand new system.
I drove through the airport the other day and the law enforcement training center added a bunch. It's a huge facility out there with the,
Porta potties.
you know, but one other thing, and I know you guys get tired of hearing this every year, but Pam and I were on the Hero Flight, and what the homecomings that you and your people put together for the veterans coming home, it was unbelievable. And you know, a lot of those veterans are passing on now, and at their funerals they're talking about the Hero Flight and the homecomings for some of the most special days of their lives. And just wanted to thank you for it. And it appears that maybe there's going to be another group that's going to be starting up, and they'll be asking you for the use of your airport again.
You know, we're ready, willing, and able. We've been waiting for you guys to come back out
Thank you again. Thank you,
All
Doug.
right.
I just have one request, you have to move that 5:08 a.m. That's painful.
That early Dallas one
Well,
is
I
tough.
have to tell you, Jane, in all seriousness, that plain average is a 90% vote that.
Jane, you're,
Especially with the six.
Mrs. Richardson, you're
You can go
gonna,
anywhere afterwards. You got all day to get there. You can.
Mrs. Richardson, you're not gonna have to worry about daylight savings time anymore.
Yeah, they're gonna fix it.
Right, Jane?
What?
You won't have to worry about daylight savings
Thank you
time
guys for
anymore.
being here. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
I think they're gonna get rid of it, what they're talking
Well, I
about.
think it passed passed Congress and doesn't go to the Senate.
We'll see if they repeal it after a year or two like they did 40 years ago.
Yeah.
50 years ago.
Who wants to go?
1974.
I think, yeah, I know.
Thank you again.
I think years
You
ago.
bet.
Anywhere in the United States where if you go at 6 o'clock at night,
Well, look at
Holy
us.
smokes.
My golly. I know, that's nice, thank you.
I didn't know we were inviting a bag lady to the meeting.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding, yeah, I'm just kidding, yeah, thanks.
you'd hurt my feelings if I
Thank
had
you.
it.
Thank you. Morning. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
You have to trade.
Here, we're all digging around in our little
We're neighbor
bags.
size.
Thank
Your grandkids.
That's what I
I
mean.
just thought it
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. No, that was part of the
was, thank you.
comments that I.
You knocked it out of the park with that. I'll continue to brag you up on your idea for the soldiers. You'll have something.
No, he'd be one of the commenters that I heard people talking about. I get.
Yeah, those are signed. Is
Oh,
there
did you
something?
sign?
Yeah, is there something in this book?
No, that's my book. That's my budget book. And these are just those
Yeah,
resolutions.
Scott and I both signed them.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And I signed this.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
He's in there.
You're ready.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, by the way. Ahead of time, thank you. What, hotels?
Yeah.
Well, because we're building for the future, aren't we? Well, I think the individual hotels are moving until the occupancy comes up. But revenue's still up. Well, listen to, I talked to you, you listen to it. This isn't my story, it's theirs.
She's here. Well, hello.
Hi.
Ready to go?
Yes.
All right. Well, it's a privilege to be here. Not as many years as Mike at the airport, but I think I'm in my 13th or 14th year, if I'm counting up correctly. I'm looking back at my staff. Paul's kind of nodding his head, sort of. He's been there a number of years ahead of me, so it's always a privilege and an honor to come and give this report to you. And it's a report to you and an update and an understanding of who we are and how we function. And I've got a few things I'll go through before I get into the annual report that you've got in front of you. And it's basically to highlight this, that our community in tourism is changing and quickly. And it's changing how we think and approach tourism here in Hall County. We certainly have entered a new time. If you take a look at the cover of the annual report, that shows construction. And not only is our hotels being constructed at an enormous rate in our community, there's lots and lots of other businesses. We're definitely in a major growth spurt as we speak. That changes our role in a way that I want to kind of go over with you so you understand how we approach what we do and why we think that's important. Tourism is a growing part of the industry. We have new hotels, we have renovations, we have facilities that are really second to none in all kinds of areas that create demand and attraction for us here. Those investments represent jobs, property taxes, construction, and spending, and confidence. And I'm going to continue on with that thought. Every hotel room is an opportunity, but it's also a challenge. It's a little bit terrifying. They're building these enormous facilities with hundreds of new hotel rooms, right? And it's like they are all in on what we're doing as a community. They don't just spend money, they've done their research. They know what's happening in our community is the real deal. And they're investing in that because they see that growth and they see the confidence in that. But with that comes a responsibility on our part. We no longer just want to sell rooms. We want to create demand. Okay? It's a little different, subtle, but it ends to the same result. The best way I can describe this, though, as we look at some of the numbers and the events that drive them, is a fish tank. Okay? We had a certain size fish tank 4 or 5 years ago, and we had a certain number of fish in that tank, customers, clients, room users, right? But now we have a lot bigger fish tank. And the number of fish or customers or room nights that we sell are fairly new to that, and that has to expand a certain way. And how do we drive that demand to create more customers or room nights for us? Competition is increasing. Our competition isn't necessarily Kearney or Hastings or York or even Lincoln. It's every single community that wants some of these types of events that we do, not just here in Nebraska, but as you look into Colorado, Wyoming, Kansas, and so forth. That is our competition. A lot of times we're kind of trained to think, oh, let's just look to this town or that town. And that's true to some degree. But as we grow, that is certainly something that we need to be mindful of. When tourism grows, local business invests, with the possible exception of our livestock facilities. Ooh, why do I bring that up? The livestock facilities came to town, I don't know, what, 13, 14, now 15 years ago, I think it is, closer to that. That was designed to bring one event to town, the Nebraska State Fair, and it did, in spades, right? But it's like, oh, we have this facility, it must be a piece of cake to fill that up and bring livestock shows to town. And we've really learned and kind of stumbled our way through the ability to do just that. And that has been game-changing for our community. But it's different than the investment that a private person might put into a hotel or a restaurant or something like that, in that if you build it, they will come makes for a good movie line, but it doesn't necessarily actually translate to reality a lot of times. And when we do that, we need to look at that, not just selling a room, but creating demand. So that is why hotels are being built, because they believe they're creating a demand. And the business people and the investors see it. They see the opportunity here. And that translates into millions, tens of millions of dollars in investment. And I think that is super, super important for us to look at before we dive into our report and introduce those that are here with us today. And I want to take a minute to introduce our board, of which I've got 2 or 3 on site, with 2 of them here, it looks like. That we have Mike Swanson, who's a long-time member of our board. You added up your head how many years? We go on presidential administrations on that figure for that one. And Angela Mueller has been our board chair for a number of years now. Thank you for being here as well. And Chris Hofstetler, who is our newest member of our board, and thank you for being here. Also representing our board is Brock Burney, and Nathan DeLate, and Carla Guinness, and Todd McCoy, and Pam has been our liaison for a good many years, and we appreciate each of them. And our staff is all represented here today. Paul Nielsen, hiding in the back row, wearing his Nebraska's favorite island. Dana Jelinek is here in the second row, and she has been with us about 5-ish years now. I think I'm going to keep track of that. Stephanie Salmon is new to our staff. She does our bookkeeping and office work, and she has been drinking from a fire hose for the last 6 or 8 weeks now, something like that. So every day we say, okay, we're going to go to this new thing. And today it's the Hall County board. So, and Diane Rose, we'll bring her up, but she's on a cruise ship in Alaska right now. So she's doing good things with her family, and we do appreciate her and all that she does. I'm going to start with a fun little project that we're doing, and then we'll dive into the nuts and bolts of the report that I have in front of you. We have engaged, and I'm not sure if the sound is up or if it's going to play or not. We have done some marketing fun, and we have this idea that the Sandhill Cranes come through here, correct? And so here's a little,
Thousands of miles every year. One trip to Grand Island, and I just traveled back in time. Here on the campus grounds of the Stewart Museum, there's a whole railroad town. Great out of history, and put right here to live like it's the past, but in the present. Think you can beat my record with a hoop and a stick? I doubt it. When's the last time you stopped by a general store or visited your town's tinsmith? There's so much history in Grand Island, we can't even fit it all inside a museum. Come get a taste of prairie life for yourself by experiencing it live.
the Grand Island Crane has been visiting lots of places. We're up to about a dozen of these different representations, something like that. And we're getting tens of thousands of looks to have this idea that the cranes maybe shouldn't continue on north. They should just hang out here because it's a fun place to go and a fun place to see. Let's see if this next one will play.
I am a sandhill crane, so I think I know a thing or two about migration. Today, I'm in Grand Island, because over a century ago, thousands of Mormons passed through right here, following the north bank of the Platte from east to west for hundreds of miles. History nerds and history birds flock to Grand Island and follow the Mormon Trail today. Check out the landmarks. You can even swim, fish, and camp right here at Mormon Island State Recreation Area. So stop by the visitor center downtown, pick yourself up a guide, and walk or fly along a path made by history.
Fun stuff. It's just designed to catch attention and rent space in people's heads about our community. So we wanted to point a few of those types of things out. These are some of the basics of our operation and how we're funded. It has changed a little bit this year with our friends at the city increasing the city occupation tax on hotel rooms. So we what's administrated through here, of course, is the Visitor Promotion Fund. That's the 2% that operates our office in the budget that's laying before you. The 2% Visitor Improvement Fund comes before you later on this fall. The Grand Island City occupation tax was at 2%, now it's at 4%, and then there is a 1% state lodging tax as well. 9% total. It actually adds up to a little bit more than that because of the aggregate and the way that it's calculated. We now have 27 hotel properties with 2,500 plus rooms in our community. And that is actually way more than most communities of this size. Grand Island has among the most per capita hotel rooms in Nebraska. Okay, actually more than Lincoln, more than Omaha. You know, per capita population, you wouldn't think that. Kearney and North Platte are similar to us in that regard as well. We also just wanted to highlight a few of the visitor improvement grants from last year. This isn't all of them. We did just about $1 million in grants last year. One at the top that I'm very proud of is our friends at Stewart Museum, who you'll hear a little bit from here after us, is installing an internet fiber. And that's creating some next generation experience for them and giving them the ability to do some presentation work that I'm sure you'll hear more about from them, but we're glad to help underpin that concept for them, along with some wonderful stuff that's happening throughout our community. And I'm going to talk to you in a little bit about those funds and our strategies behind them as we get a little bit further into this presentation. What do we do? What do we do as a CVB? Our job is simple. We are a marketing and services agency. And if we're not doing one of those two things, we have to really think long and hard why we're at the table. We need to market our community and serve those things that are sold. So we need to pay close attention to those things. That's done through sales efforts and through, when we say marketing, that's a broad term that we like to use. Advertising is one part of marketing, but not the totality of that. So it's just being present at the table. That's who we are. So if people ask, what do we do? As a CVB, we are a marketing and sales agency. Livestock shows, I've got those at the top there, and we're going to come back to them in just a second. Funding partnerships. We don't do this alone. We have since, in the last number of years, come alongside a number of organizations, and in particular I want to highlight Grow Grand Island, who has helped to provide us a couple $100,000 a year in event incentive and development funding. And that has been transformative in our ability to attract and retain important events that come to our community. And I just can't say enough about how that has helped us. I've got a few of them sampled there. The Nebraska State Cheer and Dance, the USA Wrestling, the Nebraska State Pool Tournament, which has been here the last couple of years and is growing, is a midwinter event that we're really thrilled to have. Cornhusker State Games are happening this week at the Heartland Public Shooting Park. So those are some things that have all benefited from those financial partnerships that we have had through that. So the livestock shows, you'll see the 2027 iteration of that, and as you may know, the City of Grand Island is working through a financing agreement to help underpin some of those, at least in temporary mode. I think that's a 2 or 3 year agreement that they're working on. It's not signed yet. We're hoping that that will happen soon. That's an LB 840 application, and that is designed to underpin Gilka. Gilka, that is the current mode, is now shifting to a what's called Grand Island Expo Center, is now going to be operating in totality our livestock shows. And we're excited about that change, and we want to support that because that is, if not the top, among the top drivers of tourism in our community. So I talked earlier about those red barns out there, but it's complicated and it requires investment to keep those rolling. And so you see the 2027 shows, of which we've got 9 listed there, including the State Fair and Exarban, which are outside of the Grand Island Exposition Center. And they have a wonderful staff that they have wrapped around that, experts in the field, and they're just doing a great job. Our job as a CVB is to come alongside them and support them either financially or strategically to continue to build that business for Grand Island. I also want to highlight sports marketing. Sports is big business. Sports is really big business. And it's not just true of sports in Grand Island, but it's true nationwide. We're going to introduce these two folks here in a little bit. But sports marketing, I want to take a peek at something here. We've had boys and girls state golf championships held here in the last 2 years. Cornhusker State Games shooting sports, that was in Lincoln. That's approximately 700 people combined. Archery and the rifle and other components that are on there are happening in our community. That's new. That was hosted in Lincoln for many years. We're glad to have that here. Golden Gloves National Boxing is coming to Grand Island in 2027 and 2028, I'm sorry. And that's moving forward. Nebraska League One Volleyball, the professional volleyball, sold out here. We're a sports town, and we want to lean into that as best we possibly can and showcase those types of events for our community, because I've got this saying, when Farmer Park's busy, our whole town's busy. It's just that simple. And we want to kind of lean into that. This next slide is in the middle of your open packet there, and it kind of talks about the total rate that a taxpayer is going to pay, or a room visitor is gonna pay when they come here is now to 17%. That is in line with Omaha, Lincoln, and to some extent Kearney. When they do that, I gotta check on them, I think they're very similar to us now. And so they have raised that city occupation tax in order to help fund some much needed improvements and deferred maintenance at the Heartland Event Center or Big Iron Event Center, which my brain has to be switched over to start saying that. But here's an important number in the middle, year-to-date lodging trends. Right now, according to our Smith Travel Research Report, we're at 47.7% occupancy. Gosh, that seems a little bit on the low side, but that reflects the large inventory of rooms that we have that have popped onto the scene in the last 2 years, and we're playing a little bit of catch up. I'd like to see that up closer to the mid-50s or 60%. It would be a better place where I think we need to get to. So hopefully in the coming years, we can do that. Revenues directly from hotels, not the impact that Mike showed you, but of the airport, of the 200 million. Ours is probably a similar number, but direct actual revenues are $41 million, which I believe behind agriculture and manufacturing, tourism is probably our number 3 activity in this community. So that is something that I wanted to highlight with you. We have updated our website. It's new. It reflects the fact that most people are on their phones. And so we speeded up that information pipeline. I think it says there 75% of our visitors come to us by the smartphone. That's the word I wanted to say. And so we reacted to that. And I wanted to touch on our advertising. You saw the crane there. That's part of that for sure. But impressions of 433,000 and 385 respectively on Meta, which is Facebook and YouTube. And we just want a constant presence in front of people getting impressions for us. New hotels, new sponsorships. This is how we started our presentation. There are amazing new properties scheduled and under construction here. You see the Abbott Atwell, which is over in the Conestoga Marketplace and working its way through. Hampton just opened its doors this past year. Hyatt is proposed for down Highway 281. If you go down south there, what a beautiful concept that is. We'll look forward to seeing that happen. Some new sponsorships with JBS Big Iron out at the Farmer Park campus. And of course we have the Siege and the Fighting Cranes, which are fun new pro and semi-pro events that we are looking forward to. Before I jump into the dollars and cents, I want to introduce Chris Katulak and Andrea Peachy, who stepped in here. And Andrea, in particular, you want to step up here for a second? She didn't know I'm going to do this. Yeah, there we go. Andrea is the new director of the Grand Island Expo and Events.
Grand Island Expo Events and Livestock.
There we go. Okay, lots of things as a sign. And she is handling not only the livestock shows, but pretty much all the flat floor space events that you might see in that 5-building complex on the west edge of the nice new parking lot out there at the farm. And I wanted to introduce her to you and simply, I think you're cleaning up and transitioning into the Hall County Fair right now, isn't that right? Yes. So take a moment just to introduce yourself.
This is cleaning up for us. For the last 2 or 3 months, she's been working hard on making it fun.
Yeah. Yes, we just wrapped up our 4th Junior National Livestock Show. So we had about a 6-week run of having exhibitors, vendors, livestock come through. We had 4 goats and then 3 different cattle shows come through. And so it's been really fun. We've had over 31 states and 2 Canadian provinces. We've had a couple from Australia and Japan that were over here showing at the shows. And so we had close to, I think, 4,000 people come through for the shows alone, exhibitor-wise. So we are getting ready for Hall County Fair now, flipping the buildings and getting cleaned up. So it's been a lot of hours, and I've had a really awesome team to kind of get us going.
Yeah.
To be on board.
Came on board earlier this spring, kind of hit the ground running, if you will. And so the Gilka model contracts have all been flipped, and Gilka is it's not gone yet, but it will be eventually. So all that business has been flipped over into this organization. So the yeoman's job of getting those contracts recognized and organized and prepared for this year's, and we've started to get some phone calls for next year's, the list that I had just put up there a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so we're excited for next year, and people are wanting to come back and book out for future years for some of the shows that we just completed, so I'm excited.
Andrew really is stealing the show. Right now she's setting up the Hall County Fair, which begins next week, and then we need to make way for State Fair to come in for their 2-month possession of our property. She's already working on things for the remainder of this year and into next year, as Andrew mentioned already. We're already planning for our race meet as well, but Andrew was telling me on here on a drive down, she's got one of the battle parades, Lindsay or Lindsay. They need money to come here. The show's gonna cost them $150,000 at least, that's the bid. They asked Brad for money. There's grants at the state where they can apply for and get grants to help offset defer their cost to be here. So it's a shell game, as Brad has said before as well, but we're trying to do the best we can to just keep it good, keep the ship afloat.
You don't do this by yourself? How many do you have on your team around you?
Oh, the range is anywhere from 5 to 25, and then we bring in some temp labor to help us make. There was one show where we had a 24-hour one, so we did the barn, the arena, and then 2 other buildings ready to go. And so it was a 24-hour shift where we brought in some outside people, but I have a solid team, and they're all willing to help, I guess, for now.
All right. Maggie, any questions for them before we dive into the numbers?
No, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And never use the word shell game in a political setting. That's lesson number 1. All right, well, let's take a look at the numbers. So I've put the revenue portion up there. We are funded almost exclusively by the hotel bed tax that's administered through you. It's provided by state statute for us for the operational use of the CVB. We take that money very seriously and want to be as efficient and good with that as we can to drive the results that are needed. And so you see a couple other outside dollar figures that we have, marketing grants, whether that be from the state or some other sources that we might have, and then some partnerships, primarily with Rio Grande Island that were mentioned earlier, are shown as budget revenues that affect our budget to the good. So again, you'll see a few other things in there, providing a revenue source of around $800,000 for the coming year. Now we're going to jump from there into the cost side of things. Lots of numbers there. Sorry about that on a long day. But what we've done is we've taken our salaries administration at $362, and that includes everyone. We have actually 6 people on staff, 2 of which are part-time. We have some folks on hourly and a few folks that are half-time positions. We do look to the future where we would like to add another half-time position through this, but we're going to wait and take a wait-and-see type of approach on that to see if finances do in fact come together like they are, and that person would be dedicated to sales and outreach to adding more events to our community. So we wanted to do that, but as you look through the various components of our, it reflects pretty much an even over. I can say, also going back to our revenue side, we do a flat. In other words, we're putting down exactly what we did the year before, which is conservative. It's almost certainly going to be more than what it was, but we budget for it to be flat. Okay, so we don't assume that there's going to be a 3 or 4 or 5% growth. I can say, going back to the late 90s, we've had about a 5.5% growth rate year over year in the tourism sector. Look at that straight across. So anyhow, that's a look at the kind of the weeds of our budget there. I just put it all out there for you to take a look at and review that. It's very similar to the previous year. There isn't anything crazy above what we had done to that, and wanted to put that before you and see what specific questions you might have for myself or my staff or our partners.
Does the pressure that the state budget is under have any impact on what's going on?
Not directly to us, other than state tourism got scooped. Okay, so they swept. And they got swept to some degree. About half of their capacity for granting was swept into the general funds. And they're not alone in that, of course, in Lincoln. There's many organizations where that happened. That's not a huge portion of our operational budget, and that's one where we don't spend it if we don't get it. Okay, so you look at that portion of it and finding those. So our dollars have not been directly affected by that at this point. You never know. Our authority is through you, but that authority comes from the legislature. So we do keep a close eye on that in Lincoln, and I haven't heard any rumblings that again, you never know. Thank you.
Pam?
So as a liaison, I think I would be remiss if I didn't say that being part of this board or committee, whatever, is sheer pleasure. And I want to tell you that, but if you think that, well, I don't know that it's by design, maybe because the two of you are so active, but having Angela and Mike in the room is kind of interesting because I don't know, and I'm not familiar with all of the committees, of course, that have gone on in Hall County, but I'll tell you this one, financially, there's so much scrutiny. I mean, and quite frankly, Brad, you take it very well. I mean, you're very, very good natured about it, but I mean, there isn't anything that this board doesn't fully understand or ask about. I mean, they are the only thing I can liken it to, really, that I'm very familiar with is how we are with our budget. I mean, that's so there are no loose dollars here. Everything's accounted for. If there are dollars, as you well know, and of course there's an operating fund, and it is what it is. It costs a lot of money to operate the business as such. But everything else goes into grants. That's how we help other entities either come here or sustain themselves. You saw the advertising and how Brad's organization, or our organization, the CVB, I should say, works with other organizations here in town to help them with their advertising, which relieves dollars in those budgets so that they can use it for other things. This is really, this is a fantastic, and everybody gets along. I mean, I'm not saying that it's always however many there are. I'm not a voting member, but however many votes you have, we don't always vote, or they don't always vote the same. But it's very congenial. It's very, maybe it's because it's at 8 o'clock in the morning, first thing in the morning, and nobody has an opportunity to get grumpy. They've already just brought their coffee and sat down. But it's just, you run a wonderful, wonderful office, and your staff is remarkable. And and I think the board's just great to work with. So thank you, Mike and Angela, because I know you're both really, really busy people. So thank you for being here, and to the staff for being here, because in support of Brad. That kind of shows how you work together, I guess.
And that financial security is important. I mean, it really truly is, and we appreciate that. We kind of think, oh boy, but no, you really want 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of eyes on all those things in there.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Not, Brad, thank you again.
Thank you.
Good luck for another good year.
Thanks again for the surprises.
Got y'all cleaned up. Carry the flag.
One to go, and we're ahead of schedule.
This is always a prayer
Two if you can. If you can't.
Well, I can share it.
I think I've got
Okay, good. Looks like it.
memory served.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You're good.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for having me here yet again. I think this is my 7th time in front of all of you, so the years are going by pretty quickly for all of us, and I'm very cognizant of the fact that I probably won't see some of you again, at least in this setting, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for your service to our county, to our community. Also, I wanted to especially thank Commissioner Hilltower. She's been our liaison for a number of years now, and she also is a steadfast volunteer. How many hours she put in on the 4th of July, but I was watching her and she was pretty active, and it was hot out there. And the mosquitoes were big as buzzards too, so that was no fun. Also wanted to say thank you to Commissioner Sorensen, because he certainly influenced this presentation. You probably doesn't know that, but maybe a year ago or so, I met with Commissioner Sorensen, and he said, bring some good messages to us, maybe off cycle, a little bit off budget cycle. And I failed in doing that because the year got away from me, but I'm going to bring some positive messages to you all now, and I hope that I can leave you on the day with some good thoughts. But first, I would be remiss to say, as the year got away from us, it's about a year ago, almost to the day, when Tom Oswald walked into my office and told me that he could not remember how to do the time cards that he did for almost 4 years straight. And we lost Tom in September, so it was pretty short order. But Tom, I want to make sure this is in the record, because I don't think publicly I've ever said it, thinking about it, but Tom was quite a character, but he was pretty humble and he was pretty quiet at his core. And it took some digging into our archives to uncover a photograph in the Independent when he actually was teaching classes at school 49 years prior to his passing. So he quite literally spent the majority of his life at Sweden working to make that place better. And so I want to remember that, because I didn't get a chance to sit in front of all of you who passed up on the presentation to us in September. So we had a historic year for Story Museum. The highest revenue that the organization has ever achieved, for 2.3 million in revenue. It was also the second highest admissions revenue for any single year in our museum's history, and that's just the admission line only, at $125,000. The highest year was actually 2023 at $141,000. But we made up some of those differences in other revenue lines. Part of that is because of paid admissions, and I will point that out to you when we get to that point in your booklet that I gave to you and what that looks like. A couple of years ago, our treasurer Kyle Overture said, we're tracking admissions, we should track paid admissions, because there's a significant number of folks that come to the museum every day that they get in for various reasons, whether they're a member or whether they belong to a specific program, like veterans programs. We allow veterans to come in for free. Also, the program that's called Museums for All. So if folks are on, have a reduced budget, or they're in need and they're on SNAP benefits or WIC, they can come in for free as that's a significant number here in Hall County of folks that get into the museum for free. So we started tracking that paid admissions revenue, and it's really made a difference for us. Our mission, and I just want to make sure I state this clearly because we'll have a through line in the story I'm about to tell you about this past year, and looking forward, our mission is to celebrate the collective human experience of community building along the Platte River Valley. That is the Stewart Museum mission. That changed probably almost 5 years ago now, and people are still catching up with what that means. But that means that we have pretty much an unfettered approach to talk about the history of Hall County. We're not narrowed down to a specific period, or we're not narrowed down to a specific subject. We can fulfill our obligation and our moral obligation to the community to really document the history of this community as it happens. That's the value that a museum brings to the county and to the community. The growth that we have had over the years, I have to give a shout out, is because simply of one thing: exceptional programming. The level of programming, and we'll discuss that just a little bit as we move forward, has been off the chart. It's been national level programming that we brought. And I'll quantify that with some facts in a little bit. But that is what really leads the growth in an organization like Stewart Museum. How good can that programming be? It does not happen without really good people. And those people, some of them sit behind me right now, Stewart Museum staff members. This is the highest educated, most motivated staff that the museum has ever had. They're also probably the youngest looking staff that the museum's ever had. And I think that's a good thing, because they're exactly the type of people that we want in our community and our county. And we want that, and by the way, they live all over the county. And we want those folks to stay here because they're young, highly educated, motivated, involved in the community, and committed to our mission, which is building community. Each and every one of them holds that in their heart, and I'm very proud of them and what they've been able to accomplish. The bottom line up front, because I'm kind of a bottom line guy, I think all of you know that, is we're coming to you this year. We're requesting a flat budget. We are not requesting any increase from last year. What we were allocated. That's the $975,000 that you all have so judiciously and generously allocated for our budget. That doesn't mean that we're up without need, because we certainly are, and I'll address that, and how we're going to go about trying to fulfill those needs. But you'll see a couple of things that I want to talk to you about in addition to that request that I just shared with you, is that we do have a role in tourism, and that is very important. And you'll kind of feel a little bit of a carryover from what Brad presented, because Stewart Museum is in a period of time where we are partnering across the county with folks to bring more exceptional programming, to reduce the dependency, frankly, on county dollars, to try to maximize our potential to draw people to our community, because that's the payback for us, and to just be a better museum. And I also want to talk about sustainable infrastructure, because it's very important to us. If you're following along loosely with me, I'm about page 3 of the book, and I'll talk a little bit about our role in tourism, and then maybe bring some other things along the way. So, tourism, I know that I'm kind of preaching to the choir, but I definitely want to have this in the record. Tourism is important to our city. Obviously, there's a direct line there with the occupancy tax. But it's also important to county economic development as well. Because all of you know this, I mean, I know this, that you know this, but I don't know how many folks in our county or citizens realize it. But folks don't want to live in a place that is not attractive, that is not vibrant, that doesn't have things to do. And tourism is one of those factors that allows for those amenities, if you can call it that, to really develop and to flourish, which attracts more people. And yes, occasionally you're going to get somebody who comes here as a tourist and they fall in love with the place and say, I'm going to move my family to Grand Island, Nebraska. It happens. It happens probably more than what we realize. Moreover, when we can promote tourism here, we promote that business development that feeds the property tax line, which is a correlation and helps the county out those property taxes and revaluations. So I think that is significant to recognize that that vibrancy is a part of that ecosystem that is a result of that effort. When you look at the visitors that come to Stewart Museum, our zip code report revealed, as I closed out the fiscal year, that 40,138 visitors were admitted to our gates this past fiscal year. 51% of those folks were tourists. Now that's down just a little bit from last year, but still above the half margin. So over half of the folks that come from to Stewart Museum are from beyond a 90-minute drive. We also had folks, if you read my report there, we had folks from we had folks from all over the world. We had them from Australia, Belgium, Germany, Japan, Netherlands, Spain, United Kingdom. And we also had 3,265 visitors that were from the 50 states in the District of Columbia in that mix. And then you had 5,716 of those Nebraska visitors that were from nowhere close to here. We can presume that a lot of those folks spent the night, did some other things in town, because obviously they probably spent the day at Stewart Museum, but they did other things as well. And we count those folks as tourists. When you look in your book here, I want to draw your attention to figure 1.1. I don't have it, I don't think, I might have it here. I'll pull it to it. There it is. I want to show you this chart. These are the trend lines for our visitors since 2012. And you can see this chart is in your book. It's about midway through. And that blue line is the number of visitors through our gate. You can see what it's done since 2020. Those are record numbers. Of course, 2020 we had very few through our gate because we were shut down so much of the year for COVID. But you can see what that line has done since. That green line is the paid admission line. So while you see just a little bit of dip in visitation year over year from 25 to 26, what you do see is an uptick in that paid visitation, which is important for us to look at because that provides us resources. And most generally, those are folks from out of town. Those are tourists coming to us. Going back on my slides real quickly, a couple of other things that I want to share, or one thing that I want to share, is that tourism, this is not just me speaking this comes from Nebraska Tourism, and of course they have some interest in this, but tourism has scientifically been shown to boost property values across Nebraska. So communities that have good tourism, their property values are generally higher, which is a direct correlation to the work that you all do for the county. This next slide that I want to talk about is sustainable infrastructure. And if you switch to the page in your book, you can kind of come about where we talked a little bit in the last pages about that sustainable infrastructure. First of all, I'd like to share that since I got to Stewart Museum and since we formed our team there, our focus has been getting more people through the gate. That's kind of a no-brainer. that gives us success when we get more people to the gate. That alleviates the burden on a lot of revenue lines, including the ask that we make to the county. But it also develops opportunity for us to do a lot of other things with those people. Repeat visitors, maybe make them members, maybe make them donors, those types of things. So we worked really hard at that. It has worked. It also has had some unintended consequences. It's exacerbated some very aging infrastructure systems on the ground of the Stewart Museum. Currently, we spend about anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a month on septic systems that are paid. I had this, I don't think Brian's here, but we've had this, the Stewart building itself pumped 4 times in the last 2 months. Part of that is the overall increase in volume, and if you look at that chart, you can see in many cases we've doubled the volume that we were, sometimes triple the volume that we were back in 2012 and that decade there. So that's part of the problem. The other problem is that we have septic tanks literally dissolving in the ground. That's what has happened to the Stewart tank. And now we have backwater refill on that septic tank, and it backs up into the Stewart building, creating very troublesome issues because we have artifacts in that building. And literally having raw sewage flow through the hallways of the Stewart building is a tough place to be. And that happens nightly. So we are developing, and we worked really hard, and I'm very grateful for the Stewart Museum Foundation, who has raised some money to get connected, no small fee, to get connected to city sewer. And as we speak, lines are being bored throughout our campus to be connected to Prairie Commons, where Chief Industries so generously donated us a connection point to get city sewer access. This has been an 18-month program to try to make this happen, from raising the money to try to get the construction done, to try to align all the stars. And as I left the campus, the folks were boring the pipe through the campus. My hope is that within a few weeks that will be fixed and we'll no longer have these issues. Which is exciting for not only us, but for the staff and the visitors who are going to come 20, 30, 40 years from now. It's going to be huge for us. The other thing that I would like to bring up as far as infrastructure is the Board of Trustees, and my gratitude to them for forward thinking and making a huge difference in their decisions, which saves us money. There's a picture of the church, the Lutheran Evangelical Church, the Emmanuel Lutheran Evangelical Church, in your book. Absent the steeple, you see that needs a little bit of weight of paint in that picture. But you see what that church looks like now. That is now a steel-sided church. The reason that we did that is because the cost to paint the church was $90,000, which had to be done every 3 to 5 years. The cost to put steel siding on that church was $90,000 with a 50-year guarantee. It has not changed the appearance of the church. The historic building is underneath the siding, but it will literally save the museum and everybody who contributes to the museum, county included, millions of dollars over 50 years, just for one building. That decision would not have been made 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. The decision would have been based on the premise that we have to maintain this pursuit of authenticity at all costs. You cannot keep the doors open if that is the singular focus. The Board of Trustees are making the decisions now that will sustain this place and relieve pressure on that budget for decades to come. There will be other buildings at Stewart Museum which you will see that become steel clad, so that we don't have to spend that kind of money with 35 years just to straighten it. Makes no sense. It's a great business decision. It is infrastructure decision making, I think, at its best. chart. Something I want to talk about real quickly, and I want to give shout outs to community partners, number one being the Grand Island Tourism. But over the 4th of July, we, and many of you, well, Karen, you were there, and maybe some of the others who were there, but this 250th Independence Day was quite extraordinary. The staff worked very, very hard to bring together more than 40 community partners led by Laura Campbell Omega, who sits in here now. And she's a dynamo. She's beyond her years, I will tell you that, because it was like organizing herding cats. But she did very, very well. The city, the county supported us very, very well. And we had the second highest attendance for a single event day in our museum's history. The first being the solar eclipse. And I argue that we were just a parking lot during the solar eclipse for those folks. This was a complete day of programming and interaction, and it was amazing to see representation at Stern Museum for the 250th. And you can see that single day attendance at 4.3 thousand for the day. This is based on Brad's and CVB's AI Placer report, which does geo fencing based on your cell phone, and we can get all kinds of cool data on who was there, what they did after, what they did before, what they looked like, their income, all those things. We have that data. This is an overall business snapshot or an impact report on just the day. You see that when we're able to pull something like this off, it was worth $312,000 to our community, with 100 hotel rooms for the day on the 4th of July. This is the value of partnerships. When the museum fully gets engaged in community, the community responds, and we end up with tremendous results. Now, there was a year that went into building this day out, but a very, very successful day, and I would be remiss if I didn't share that with you, because we can repeat this. We can do it again and again and again, and amplify the value of Stern Museum to the county and to our community. So our budget request is respectfully submitted at $975,000, the same as last year. I want to talk a little bit about our largest challenge without going over time. So our largest challenge is keeping the staff that is behind me, some of them, not all of them are here, but keeping them here. They are, on average, 30% paid less than their like positions across the state of Nebraska, including the Tri-State area. Including the Tri-State area, Kearney, Hastings. That's not right. Not with the work that I see these folks doing, not at their education level. We have to somehow rectify that. So when you look in your binder, the last pages, you'll see our complete budget. I did not make an eye chart for the slides, but you'll see our complete budget there. You'll see our 2025, 2026 budget, our 26 and our 27 budget that we're asking for and proposing. You see the county supporting that in property tax receipts. But you see that revenue line has gone up right around $100,000. And so has the expenses. You'll see that we have asked the Stern Museum Foundation for an additional $100,000 to support staff salary increases. I don't know where that's going to come from right now. Neither does Bonnie and her team. And I haven't got word back from them if they will be able to support this. I trust that they will. We've made a compelling case of the disparity in pay of our very professional staff. But I will share with the county commissioners, if we do not get that $100,000 in extra support from the Stern Museum Foundation, we will not get a single employee a raise this year. Not a single. These are people who are over the 30% underpaid. That's the challenge that we face. And I think you should know that as our largest supporting institution. that's my report. I will certainly take the questions.
Chris, I know in the past, we've had the discussion of the impact of the minimum wage increase and how that has affected your staffing. I guess I would like you to kind of outline again how that has impacted particularly your summer help and some of those things.
I'm glad you asked that question, Commissioner Peterson. As you know, in my last report, I shared with you that we would have to remove a third of the positions at Stewart Museum. That was last year in our report to you. We executed that action. To remove those positions, we didn't ask people, we didn't keep people on in their positions, and we also reduced hours for railroad town operations, staff hours in railroad town operations. We didn't reduce the time that it's open. We relied heavily on analog and some technological improvements to make sure that the visitor improvement or that the visitor experience stayed strong in railroad town. And it has, and you can see that we booked record revenue even with those staff shortages. The other thing that our managers who are sitting behind me have done so effectively, and I'm very proud of it, the last 4 months of this fiscal year, which arguably are some of our strongest, you know, we start to pick up really in May and June, we really pick up in April, May, June, pick up attendance. They have been able to reduce the salary outlay month over month compared to the previous year for 4 consecutive months. They've reduced it by tens of thousands of dollars each of those months. That was because of those staff reductions, but it was also because of their judicious scheduling of folks, trying to schedule folks around when we have bigger crowds at Stewart Museum to offset it with revenue. That's tough business because you can never know in the summertime who shows up at Stewart Museum and when they're going to show up. Thus far, the complaints have been marginal. But I have to tell you, Commissioner Peterson, that the staff that sits behind me and the hourly staff that remain at Stewart Museum are overworked. And I'm not kidding when I say that. They work a lot of hours. They work a lot more hours than what we pay them for, which is not only not right, it's also illegal.
Any other questions for Chris?
Have you ever visited any of our senators concerning the minimum increase and what they thought?
I have discussed it with Senator Green.
Anybody else have any questions for Chris? I think we would all say that the work that you've done at the museum has been very fruitful for the museum. I have enjoyed your presentations over the years and have enjoyed following how you've created success there. Ma'am?
And I would echo that, but I'd also say this is very, I take that much to heart, and that's very, that's stressful and not sustainable. And what you just shared with us. And I personally, I think that there are, to me, this is the sort of thing that we should be using like our gambling dollars for, these sorts of things. If there are concerns and shortfalls, than some of the other things that we have done, and that's just me. And but I'm just saying I appreciate hearing. I would really like to know, and Karen will probably report to us because she's very good about reporting out. But I would like to know what the foundation is able to do for you, because that, I mean, we don't have that information. That's something that we just have to believe in, which is, you know, so I don't have any idea whether they're capable or not capable, but of helping. But this is but it's very stressful to me to hear you say that, because I mean we knew that from last year too. I mean we heard it, took it to heart, blah blah blah. We appreciate everything you've done. On the other hand, you know, it's like I said, we still have a responsibility, and this is not sustainable. You know it, I know it, you know. I mean, you're doing some tremendous things. I mean, you've done great job. And leadership, yes, you have a fabulous staff, obviously, but, and I applaud you for that, but it starts with leadership. And so that's the way I feel about all of the organizations. I said this earlier, you weren't here, but I like this, maybe you were, but I like this kind of, this day in budgeting because it tells our successes. It's a wonderful thing. I'm sorry that we just need to make sure the press is here to hear these things. But anyway, all of this, all of the people, the airport, the CVB, you all, starts with great leadership. So thank you for that.
I do want to point out that Student Museum Foundation has done a tremendous job getting buildings in Bell, supporting Congress.
Yes, they have.
And that team has worked tirelessly to raise that money. But as all of you know, fundraising is a tough job. So they've done a tremendous job.
Well, thank you for the report.
Thank you for what you do for Stir, and thank you for what you've done for our country.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need to take care of, action number 2, discussion possible action to approve and authorize chair to sign the final plat resolutions for A, B, C, and D. If somebody will make that motion.
Mr. Chairman, if be all right, I'd make a motion to authorize the board chair, to approve and authorize the board chair to sign a final plat for resolutions for A, resolution number 26-21, and final plat for the Cocoa Beach 1 subdivision. B, resolution 26-22, final plat for the Garden Place 3rd subdivision. C, resolution 26-23, final plat for the Husker subdivision. D, resolution 26-24, final plat for the Staverson Acres subdivision.
A second. This must be, I mean, Chad looked really distressed on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that must have been, that must
Yeah.
be what this is about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, just so
Yeah,
we're,
unfortunately, they had sent the email and I just missed it. And so as a result, I said, well, we can put it on for
Perfect.
today.
Worked
which
perfect.
Actually, last year's same meeting, we also had another item on the agenda, so
perfect. No,
it
it's
works.
perfect. That's why we added that.
Marla
Yeah,
can take
and
care of
Okay.
another
anything.
business, yeah.
Thank you,
He's
Marla.
good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I missed it.
Voting is open, it looks
Yeah,
like.
voting is open. I just need everybody to vote.
So,
I thought I did.
Okay.
All right.
A couple other items that I just wanted to make people aware of because of we had some issues yesterday that the recording wasn't working properly, so we had IT make a little change, and they demonstrated it to me. If you see the red light on the desk, and there's also a red light on the computer back here, the one on the left will tell me when the system is on, and the one when it's red means it's running. When it turns blue, then it's paused. So we'll know for sure that everything is running.
As long as you can see.
Yeah,
Well, and
red versus blue.
yeah. One other thing I should make you aware of, I've had a number of emails from the Housing Authority, and this week they are being visited by somebody, trying to think the gal's name, she's from the U.S. Housing Authority, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development down in Omaha. They are doing a assessment for Housing Authority trouble designation. I don't know any of the details of it. I was invited. The problem is their opening and closing are next Tuesday and Thursday, right during our meeting. So they will give me an update in writing as exactly what it entails, but I was the only one that was notified of that on the board, so I just thought you should be aware of it. Yeah, he made it all in one motion.
Okay.
yeah.
He did it in one motion, right, yeah. So,
If there was no opposition anyway, I think we got 7
Yeah.
yeses, so.
yeah. Okay, any other things to be brought before the board? If not, we will see you next Tuesday.